Josh Rubin from East West Healing and Performance. Today I want to talk to you about psoriasis, a skin condition that so many people suffer with. They're using topical creams, you name it, and really no one's getting great result. We have to look at where it's really coming from. Well, based on a lot of different people's research, Murray, Ray Peat, Lita Lee, Weatherby, most people have shown that it actually begins in the gut. Now, when this happens, let's say they actually talk about more of undigested proteins. Now, this could be from eating maybe undigestible foods, such as above-ground vegetables, foods that are high in unsaturated fats, but also eating high amounts of muscle meats, or just being under any type of stress, having blood sugar regulation. So what happens is we eat these proteins, and now because of decreased hydrochloric acid, pancreatic enzymes, chymotrypsin, trypsin, you name it, the foods actually start to putrefy in our small intestine. Now, this is a problem because it actually is going to overload the detox system, especially the liver, but not including, as well as including, the kidneys and the skin, and of course the large intestine. So when this happens, the liver gets really overburdened, and when it gets overburdened, you'll actually get an increase of circulating estrogen in the body, which by itself independently will trigger the adrenal glands to release cortisol. It actually can stimulate the pituitary to keep producing ACTH, which stimulates the adrenal glands to keep producing cortisol. All these things are catabolic and highly inflammatory. And at the same time, in this process, you actually will increase estrogen levels in the body. So it's a cascade of effects. Now, going back to undigested proteins, when this happens and there's an inflammatory response in the GI system, one of the things that happen is the body releases inflammatory markers, some of them being serotonin, different cytokines, especially histamine. Now, histamine is an inflammatory marker, the thing that makes your nose run, your skin itch, your eyes water, stuff like that. Now, people with psoriasis, they've shown, actually have low levels of what's called cyclic AMP. It stands for cyclic adenosine monophosphate. Now, the thing that cyclic AMP does, it does a lot of different things, but one of the things it does, it actually helps to regulate histamine levels in the body, or actually control histamine levels. So when you have a lot of undigested proteins in the small intestine, and you end up with this putrefaction, you go into the stress reaction, the liver gets overloaded. Now the liver can't detoxify toxins in the body. And like I've talked about, if you're eating a lot of foods that have carrageenan, that actually inhibits the cytochrome P450 enzyme in the liver, which inhibits phase 1 detoxification. Then you have increased circulating levels of estrogen, which actually burdens the liver even more. So what happens is you have increased levels of histamine and decreased levels of cyclic AMP. So now you're going to end up with a possible skin condition. So how do we alleviate this? Of course, it has to do with the GI system. A lot of times you focus so much on the skin, and the skin's the problem, but it's actually the branch of a problem. So we need to look at what we're eating, the ratios of what we're eating, the frequencies of what we're eating. Are we actually breaking them down? On and on and on. I mean, it's pretty endless. But if we look at this, we could say it actually begins in the gut. Now, at the same time, when you have this inflammatory reaction going on, beside estrogen, cortisol, adrenaline, all these different things going up, another thing that actually goes up, according to Ray Peat, is prolactin. Now, prolactin in itself is inflammatory. It actually can pull calcium from the bones, leach it into the urine, and lead to osteoporosis. That's why osteoporosis is an inflammatory disease. It begins with inflammation. It does not begin with the bone. Now, Dr. Ray Peat talks about how people with low thyroid function typically have skin problems. Now, estrogen, prolactin, increased cortisol, increased adrenaline from all these putrefaction of proteins. All these inflammatory markers are actually going to downregulate the thyroid. At the same time, the liver being overburdened, where most of the thyroid, actually hormone T3, is produced because of selenium and glucose, it needs that. Now you end up with a T3 deficiency, so you're hypothyroid. And with that, your prolactin levels go up. So when this happens, Dr. Peat talks about how prolactin not only pulls calcium from the bone and puts it in the urine, can cause osteoporosis, but prolactin actually can increase cell division and sebum formation, which can lead to skin problems. So there's many things going on, but the bottom line is, all of this is actually stemmed from the gut, as Dr. Metchnikoff said back in the early 1900s, fix your gut, fix your health. So if we really look at the foods we're eating, the ratios of foods, if we can break down these foods, if we can regulate our blood sugar to push us into an anti-inflammatory state, then we can regulate digestion, take away some of the burden on the detox system, which liver, kidneys, and the skin, because if the liver and the kidneys get overburdened, the skin's going to be overburdened. Then we actually start to see a lot of the symptoms of psoriasis go away. We're not really treating the psoriasis hands-on. We're actually treating the root to get to the branch of the issue. So this is a short YouTube clip. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm out.